name is Vijay Pall, and I'm doing a short documentary about how the pandemic has affected people's mental health. So we have a student, a barber, and a chef as well. And thank you to all those people who took part, and I hope you like the interviews as well. I wanted to find out how it's affected them, what did they do within the pandemic, how has the pandemic affected them, how was their mental health, did you come back stronger or weaker, or have your priorities kind of changed due to the pandemic? So I hope you really enjoy kind of this content and this kind of short documentary and get in the minds of actual people that I know that I've seen pivot their business and do great things as well. So yeah, without further ado, this is the first interview. This is Atlanta, and yeah, we'll conclude at the end of the interview.
Atlanta, it's me. Uni, finished my BA in photography and did masters in visual communications, and I do like a little part-time job in Selfridges. And during COVID, we didn't have as much help as possible because we do photography and the finance of it. So when it came to like our sketchbooks, we basically done physical sketchbooks, and it was a waste because we couldn't hand it in. So we had to scan everything, and like they couldn't really see like the amount of effort in it, because when you're scanning the pictures, you can't really see the quality of it. And then when it came to the degree show, obviously everyone was upset, and I was upset because we put so much time and effort into it because it was a whole year project. And it basically got cancelled, and it was like no catalogue was done, no online show was done for us. And then later on, we found out that they picked certain people from the class to actually do the degree show, and they didn't let nobody else know. So we all felt like really out of the circle, because it was like divided into groups and selected groups that we thought that they liked. They just concentrated on them, and they basically outcasted everybody else. It was a bit of a struggle, and it's like you couldn't see no friends, couldn't see no family. Like even when it was like work, nobody knew what was going on for work, because everybody needs money for like financials, just to survive as well, because everyone was buying everything out, shelves was empty, prices went up. So that was a bit of a struggle, because nobody knew if he was going to get furloughed, if there was going to be any money. Because work was more stressful than uni. Because uni, I could kind of complete the project, whereas work, I would need like the money. I need to know if I'm actually going to get paid for me to carry on, because there's like gas, electric, food for me to get. And it was quite difficult, because I'm there like, I don't know what to do. Am I going to go to the job centre, because there was stuff going on with the job centre, universal credit, and I'm there like, I don't want to do that, but if that's my last option, I'm going to have to. And there was a massive wait. There's like 2 or 3 months wait, and I'm there like, I can't wait 2-3 months for money. So I was literally stuck on a standstill, it was horrible. We shouldn't be able to pay for fees, which were basically at home. We're not getting the support system, whether it's mental health system, education system, we're not getting that. And we're spending over 9,000 a year. At the end of the day, students are confused, because it's there like, what are we supposed to do? The photography aspect, I have took that even more seriously, because it's like, I've gone more into photography, because sometimes I'm there like, do I really want to do photography? Because it's like, one point my heart wasn't in it at all, because I was just there like, I come to a point where I just wanted to be a student, just do my degree, get a degree, and just go and just hope for the best. But now, because of the pandemic, I absolutely adore photography, to the point like I want to go further into it, do like bursaries, doing competitions, get like little galleries, just go further with it. I feel like it's changed me to the bad way, but kind of a good, because it's like I need to be careful what I'm doing. I need to watch out my backgrounds, watch people, how they portray themselves, and just basically focus on me instead of focusing on everybody else, because I'm always focusing on everybody else. I've basically unlocked a different part of me. It's like a little hidden character's just come out, and I'm there like, you know what, the person that I've become now, I'm happy with it, because I'm there like, I'm going to do what I want to do now. I'm going to be selfish and just think, you know what, it's just going to be about me now. And if anybody else wants to come along and we all want to build this path together, we can build the path together. And if you're negative, then you're going to have to be pushed aside, because The pandemic and the negativity, we've had that for like 1 year, 2 years. I don't want to carry on building onto that at all. It's like my confidence has, because it was so low, but now it's like very high. I'm not afraid to say what I want to say, because sometimes when they're like, I don't want to upset your feelings, but now when they're like, no, I'm going to have to say what I want to say. If I don't agree with it, I don't agree. If I do agree, I do agree, and sometimes I have reasons behind it. So my confidence has gone up very high. If there was like situations, I feel like I can deal with it now. Like if they're bad situations, good situations, and they're like, I can deal with it because I've been through everything during the pandemic, and I'm there like, I feel like nothing can stop me now. I've been through all the discrimination, I can sort that out. I've been through like the lies, the crying and everything. I'm there like, I've become that better person. I'm confident. I'm gonna focus on myself. I can now I can see the red flags coming, and I'm there like, yeah, it's about me. So without the pandemic, I don't think I would have been able to see like all these bad alerts. Like my confidence would still be low. I'd still be the little hermit crab at home. So yeah, I have come out my shell out of it for the better.
Name's Barber Jalal. I'm a barber. I've been running this barbershop now for 3 years. Just try to, look after my customers as best as I can and deliver a great service. I wanted to become like a pillar of the community, like not in an arrogant way, but like, I like it when I walk down the street in my community and people are like, yo, Jalal, Barber Jalal, yo, JB, like, and people know who I am because you become a pillar and a staple in your community, and people can rely on you to an extent when it's somebody's birthday or wedding, and people start to share more intimate things with you as they come to your business, and you develop relationships and friendships with people. So initially, I think March the 19th, 2020 is when I closed the barbershop. I closed it about 4 days earlier than the lockdown. I think it was March 23rd is when it was fully locked down. So I just closed the barbershop. I just messaged all my customers that day. I closed the barbershop and says I won't be cutting anyone's hair until this whole lockdown thing's sorted. And in my mind, I thought maybe it would be like a 14-day, 21-day thing, maybe like a month. I generally thought probably like a fortnight we'll be locked down and then we'll be back. I didn't get COVID. I was just being careful and cautious. So initially it didn't affect me that much, but as it became clearer that we were going into a lockdown, that's when I was like, okay, so what about my business now? Because when I don't work, I don't get paid, and that was an issue for me. I'll be honest with you, bro, I didn't panic and I wasn't worried. Like, the way I am, like, I just take every day as it comes. Like, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life. I've been in some dark places, but there was obviously concern. I'm not gonna say there wasn't. Obviously, I'd worked hard up until that point for 2 years to build my business. And then we went into a lockdown, and I was like, okay, so where's the money coming from and whatnot? But I had faith in the government, I did. It's kind of ironic to say that. I think there was a time in my life when I wouldn't have said that. But I had faith in them that they would do the right thing by business owners and small businesses and people, employed people and unemployed people who needed their help and support. And to an extent they did that. In my case, their help was significant and it was greatly appreciated, and for that I can sing their praises. I can, yeah. Mainly what I did is spent a lot of time with my kids and my family. Started spending a lot of time working on myself. The first lockdown, I didn't exercise at all, the first lockdown, but went on loads of bike rides and walks. Made sure we got out every single day out of the house, me and my wife and my kids. And then after probably like the first 6 weeks, I was like, all right, I need a bit more of a schedule here. Going into the last lockdown, I was really disciplined. So I was exercising 5 days a week. I had a social media routine for creating content. I had a schedule for educating myself within barbering and business. I found with that structure, I didn't really have time to think too much and overthink anything. It was like, right, get on with it and stay busy. And because what the lockdown did is it showed me that as a barber, you can't just be reliant on cutting people's hair. So I started thinking about developing educational resources for people that they can use remotely, where I can still make money without cutting hair. And then after lockdown, You know, we would joke about, oh, Freedom Day's coming and things like that. So seeing people, it was good, and the community aspect was really good. And I met some great people online, and throughout the lockdown, you know, there was a lot of communication with people. Some people were as kind as to like buy me gifts and stuff. And some, you know, people called me and they're just like, bro, like I'm feeling down. I feel down, I don't feel good. You know, I'm worried about my business. Like, I don't know if the barbershop's gonna get closed down or this or that. You know, just being able to advise people and help them and support them and just give them my little bit of insight. It was good, it was a great feeling. And, you know, there were some conversations that I'll remember for forever, like throughout that lockdown and that pandemic, that they were quite emotional. You know, people shared things with me that I'd met these people online and they had no reason to share that with me, but the fact of, you know, me just being who I am and just being authentic, they felt they were comfortable enough to share that with me, and be able to support them during that difficult time being in lockdown. So yeah, man, I feel like people in general came together, and especially within the community, you know, neighbours helping each other out with a little bit of food or here or that, or just saying hello, standing on your doorsteps and having a little socially distanced conversation. Had a few of them, and you know, I think it's going to be like a 10-minute conversation, ended up being like an hour and a half one. You know, it kind of made you question, like, when's the last time you asked somebody else how they're doing? Like, you worry about yourself so much, but when did you ask someone else, like, how are they feeling? What are they going through? I became more spiritually connected with myself and others in this very strange way. Like, I realized, like, all of this and everything is like very superficial in the grand scale, because like we're all like humans on this earth just trying to figure it all out. And I think the lockdown just really brought that home. And it was like quite a profound feeling to realize that, it's not to say I'm a selfish person or something like that, but I feel in this life, you know, you get caught up in things and you can get very busy and you can kind of forget, you know. And the biggest lesson learned, I would say, is everything happens for a reason, man. Like, everything happens for a reason. I've come out of lockdown a much better barber. I've come out of lockdown, I would say, a much better person. I've come out of lockdown a lot healthier, a lot happier, a lot more at peace with myself. Things that would have troubled me in the past prior to the lockdown don't trouble me no more. Like, they don't really shake me, they don't bother me. And I just want to uplift and elevate other people to know that, yo, you can do anything. I went into the lockdown, you know, overweight, you know, not looking very good and not feeling very good. And I came out of it feeling great, ripped, shredded, healthy, strong. And I achieved that in 4 months. So if I could do that in 4 months, there's no telling what everybody else could do in this next 12 months to come in 2022.
My name is Monica Haldar. I'm a chef and I run a cookery school specialising in Indian cookery. I started the Spice Club back in 2010. It was originally a pop-up restaurant which I morphed into cookery schools, and I now run an online version of it too, so we've changed over the years. So I started off in Manchester, which is where I'm from. Moved to Birmingham about 5 years ago, and then started a school here in Digbeth. And then very recently, due to the recent events, I've now gone online. So I, in March, had a very busy 6 months planned. We were fully booked up until May, June, both my Manchester and Birmingham classes. So I was really excited, I was very, very busy. And then obviously when the news of COVID and lockdown came in, I was, like many business owners, incredibly sad, very shocked and a bit confused about what I was going to do. So suddenly had a sudden loss of income, had to contact my customers and, you know, inform them that all the classes were cancelled. So that was really difficult emotionally, and then obviously from a business standpoint as well. Very quickly kind of gathered myself and realised that we're all at home. And a lot of us are cooking a lot more than ever before, and started to initially just share recipes on Instagram and on Facebook and on my blog with a hashtag Spice Club Staples, because I don't know if you remember back then, it was really difficult to just shop for basic stuff. So I was trying to show people, actually just have a look in your cupboards and maybe you'll be able to rustle up something that has a little bit of an injection of spice. So started off just sharing written recipes and then decided, actually, what if I started teaching online? So I decided to start doing Facebook live cookery classes every single Friday from March till about September. We used to have weekly classes. So I just did a little free, join whenever you can. First I thought it would just be my mum and dad watching. I was like, please, someone come and join. But then we started to see almost like a bit of a community, and I was not seeing just my Manchester and Birmingham students. I was seeing people join that I'd never met before, who never even knew about the Spice Club. And it was amazing because we would just come together every Friday and we kind of forgot about lockdown and COVID and we just cooked, and it just felt very, very special. And at the end of summer, I decided that I wanted to launch an online cookery school and did a crowdfunder campaign because we kind of built the support through lockdown through the Facebook live classes. And we had a very, very successful crowdfunder campaign. Thank you to all of my supporters, because I never thought it would happen. And we launched Shik at the end of the year, which is an online Indian cookery platform. The aim is to help anyone who wants to master Indian cookery from their own home kitchen, wherever they are. As long as they've got a Wi-Fi connection, they can log in and cook along. It's been really interesting from a mental health standpoint. I think even though the pandemic was devastating and we saw some truly horrendous scenes from all across the world, and my own husband works in the NHS, so he was coming home every day and it was a highly stressful situation for so many people. My mental health, weirdly, throughout the pandemic was actually probably in the best it's been for a very long time, because I actually gave priority to the stuff that's so important. I was out walking a lot, I was exercising, the lifestyle was perfect, I was at home, I felt good in so many ways. Going back to work after the pandemic has been really interesting, because I feel like I've gone from 0 to 100 and I'm back to face and it's all, full on, but now I have a second business at the same time. So I think I've struggled a little bit initially with just trying to balance things, because the lifestyle balance was perfect in pandemic, and now it's a case of trying to regain that a little bit. I think every day is a challenge, and I'm just trying to get to that point where I feel like it's an equilibrium. So I'm a massive people person, so I think actually going back and seeing faces was the thing I was yearning to do. Teaching to a camera is fantastic, but it has its limitations. So I loved seeing people and teaching people. I love that. So I would say for me, actually, it's just been a case of workload where it was really in control. Going back has just alerted me that I cannot go back to a lifestyle that I had pre-pandemic, where it is work being the priority and not myself and not my own mental health. I think it gave me the opportunity to catch up, not only with myself, but with others. And yes, it was Zoom, and yes, it was very difficult not seeing family and friends in person. But, just weekly Zoom group calls with family that I hadn't seen in a long time, or friends from high school or university that I just never made time for. It was always a quick WhatsApp message here, and a few months would go by, and you never really get to find out what's happening in their lives and how are they really. When you ask someone, how are you, on a casual WhatsApp text message, it's so different to actually being able to have a video call. One thing that I found is our little cul-de-sac that we've got here. Generally speaking, before COVID, it would be the odd Christmas card, the odd hello. And we came together actually for a few days over the pandemic and actually had little get-togethers on our driveways. And now, because of those things, we are so much closer as like a neighbourhood, which has been amazing, because there's all sorts of people that live around here, and it's been so nice to just have the barriers taken away, and we're all people, and that's all that matters. One single life lesson, I would say not to take time for granted. It's a precious thing. I've, in my family, have seen perfectly healthy members of our family, going about their normal lives, and just being really well and healthy, and then a few weeks later they're no longer with us because of COVID, in our own family, close family friends, and that is a real reminder that you cannot take time for granted. And it is the cliche, you know, you might be your last day, but we saw that far too much in COVID. And when it hits your own family, it's one thing for it to be on the news, but when it hits your own family, in your own community, in your own city, it makes it incredibly real. So yeah, time, it's precious. Don't take it lightly, is what I would say.
To conclude the whole kind of documentary together, it seems like the mental health was a real struggle at first. A lot of people's businesses got shut down, money went out the window, family struggles and things like that. But from each individual I interviewed, we saw that the decision to be better, the decision to make a difference, the decision to make a schedule or to change your business or to pivot, that initial decision changed their life and changed their pathway. Like, not everyone's in the same position, obviously. Not everyone has a business or has money to kind of throw away or to think or stuff like that. But I still think it's important that the actions we take during the pandemic or during an obstacle that we face is one of the most important things that we do, is that taking action, sitting down, maybe just figuring out your finances, or, you know, figuring out your mental health or who you are as a person is really important. I think the actual pandemic has sped that up, and it's made people realize what's important to themselves. So for Adanta, it was, you know, taking care of herself. For Baba Jalal, it's kind of the community and being a better businessman and barber. For Monica, it was just pivoting her business towards something online and falling in love with teaching, and falling in love with teaching online and doing, you know, doing even more business in that sense. Also learning about how priorities change as well, like the families, spending time with friends, catching up. I think that's really important. That is a massive takeaway from this, is spending time with those people that you don't really spend time with, or catching up on friends. And even our kind of personalities have changed towards being more kind, I believe anyway, around the people that matter. And yeah, thanks guys for watching. If you have any questions or want to share your kind of story about the pandemic and maybe you learned something new, maybe you didn't, maybe you've had a very bad time, I want to hear about it. How's your mental health doing? You can contact me in the details below on my Instagram. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and see you soon. Take care.